Yeah, I want to check this out because this is a YouTuber destroys his life visiting tribe. He traveled to like a restricted island, I think in India, where you're not allowed to go to because that's like rural tribe, like still practicing everything exactly the same for eons. This is a Tozy's video on it.
This YouTuber really traveled 9 hours to leave a Diet Coke on a forbidden island, and now he's officially been charged for illegally landing on the North Sentinel island, where approaching within 3 miles of this island is banned by law. And I mean, it's been a minute since we last talked about this guy, whose name is Mikhailo Polyakov, but he's still dealing with the consequences of a stupid attempt for virality, I guess. And now there's finally a real update, because the YouTuber who thought it was a good idea to go visit one of the most isolated tribes on Earth and leave them a Diet Coke has now been formally charged in India. And authorities do not think this is an accident. They're saying, hey, this is clear that he planned.
Yeah, he was going there for a viral take. He was going there for a viral take. And there's no way you travel there all by accident. There's no way his ship just died and he went there. He went there. Like it was just, the currents pushed me to shore. Like that, no way that happens.
Doubt this over several days, knowing that he was violating laws that have been in place there for decades. And currently, he's due back in court on April 29th, 2026. When was the last time I made a video on him? Because this guy's been sitting behind bars for a minute now. Oh, no shot. It's been a year? I don't know why. I thought it was a few months ago I made a video on him. It's been a year since I made a video on him. He's been waiting for trial for a year? I mean, if anything, this goes to show you.
Okay, it's been a while. It's been a while. Because I remember hearing something about this. I remember like I was doing something. I think I was live and someone told me about it. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. That seems interesting. I was planning on checking it out. Never got around to it. But I guess he finally got his sentencing in. And I think people who do this stuff, like Johnny Somalis, the Vitalis, the whatever this guy's name is, they need to be thrown for a max sentencing. No tiptoeing around. It has to be a max sentencing. We don't want them back. We don't want those IRL streamers back in the United States. Keep them, lock them up. Keep them trapped there for us, please, please. So yeah, they need a max sentencing. They just need to be gone from society. We don't want them here. We don't want them here. Keep them there locked up. You're doing the world some good. You're doing the world some good. But yeah, the fact that he ruined his own life doing that, going for a viral stunt. I mean, he's probably making money, but he's never gonna probably be able to touch it because it's gonna get liquidated for his court proceedings.
Don't fly to other countries and break the law for social media content because you have no idea the kind of risk you're facing. But from what I can tell, he's been in a detention center ever since he was arrested a little bit over a year ago. So now, on top of that, he's potentially facing years in prison in a country that
He actually said in an interview that he kind of enjoyed being in prison with Burmese smugglers. Then I guess he just enjoys it.
Not even from. All for a YouTube video. And if you're wondering how someone even builds up the confidence to try something like this, you kind of have to look at the content he was making before all this happened. Because his whole online presence was essentially about pushing boundaries for views. And we're talking about videos where he would go to extreme or unusual locations, film interactions with people who clearly didn't sign up to be part of the content, and I guess just overall chase shock value. Because one of his last adventures before he was arrested here was going to Taliban-controlled Afghanistan and filming himself trying on a whole bunch of helmets, waving swords, and firing guns. And obviously, the specific stunt that got him arrested, we just found out happened back in March of 2025. And what happened here was obviously showed up to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, specifically Port Blair, with a camera, a plan, and apparently like zero survival instincts. And this wasn't some spontaneous, I'll just see what happens type of trip, because authorities said he's been trying to reach this island for months and then spent several days planning the specific attempt, which is insane because one single Google search would tell you this is a very bad idea to do.
Tucked away in the picturesque waters of the Bay of Bengal exists a tiny island that has captured imaginations for centuries. But its beauty as a tropical paradise is not what has garnered attention. Rather, it is the often violent, uncontacted tribe that calls the island home. For most, this island is a window into the past and an opportunity to understand how ancient people lived. But for some, this island has become their final resting place.
Right. So what did he do? Okay, well, he got a small inflatable boat and he spends 9 hours traveling across open water. 9 hours. Like at any point during that trip, you could have turned around. You had a lot of time to rethink your life choices, but no, he kept going until he reached the North Sentinel Islands. And just
India take it too strictly for these islands. They need to take it strictly for everything. I mean, what was that other IRS streamer that almost blinded a girl during Diwali like last year? He pointed a firework at a crowd of people and then shot her in the face with a firework. And then he fled to the United States after the fact. They need to send him back. They should have not allowed him to leave. They should have not allowed him to leave. There should have been cops that grabbed him, took him to prison, and then figured out the case after that. It was like, even if there's no harm, we need to detain you and figure out what's going on. Because that's a violent act. I mean, people have lost hands holding firecrackers, launching one at a child's face. oh, it wasn't, he didn't know it was a child, but he was launching it at a group of people. It's bound to hit somebody.
To put things in perspective, this
Need
is
to
like
lock 'em all
hidden
up.
tourist spot. No, this is one of the most restricted places on Earth. You're not allowed to go within 3 miles of this island, period. Why? Well, there's been some very bad happenings there, to put it lightly, when people wanted to go visit this island and never returned. So clearly there's a massive safety issue because the people on this island aren't really friendly to the rest of the world, to put it lightly. But also, the international governments just don't want modern people to go visit that island because they don't want to spread some disease to wipe out that entire tribe. They're one of the last few protected tribes. So overall, it's just a bad idea for everyone involved. We don't want diseases to spread to them, and they don't want people there, and they make that very clear with arrows. A whole lot of arrows. But regardless, Polakov, he just pulls up to the island, fully aware of all this, and instead of, I don't know, staying in his boat like a normal person, he gets out. He walks onto the beach and spends about an hour there, which is, I mean, I gotta give it to him. He's at least committed to his awful idea. But what does he do during this hour? He starts blowing a whistle, trying to get the tribe's attention, which is not really how I'd want to introduce myself to a tribe who is infamous for blasting as many arrows possible to anyone who invades their island. But when no one shows up,
Inflatable
because
boat to an
I guess
island
they're not
that
really wanting
main weapon
visitors,
is
he
pointed
decides
arrows.
to leave behind offerings: a can of Diet Coke and a coconut. I wish I was making that up.
An American tourist has been arrested for allegedly traveling to a restricted reserve on a remote island and leaving behind a can of Coke as an offering for the world's most isolated tribe to try.
Then he takes some sand, records a bit of footage for his channel, and then just leaves. Like it was a normal beach day, I guess. Mission accomplished. Except, not really. Because he might have made it off the island, but he didn't really get away with it. Because as he's heading back, a local fisherman actually spots him there and immediately realizes something's off. So they report him. And within days, authorities track him down in Port Blair, and he gets arrested. So his trip was over. The content was secured, I guess. Except now you're in custody in a foreign country. That just doesn't sound like a win to me. And this is where things get a lot more serious, because I don't know about you, but I would really prefer not to be in a detention center in India. And to make things even worse, police made it very clear that what he did was a serious threat, not just to himself, but to the entire tribe. And this isn't about like, oh, the tribe might, you know, shoot arrows at you. It's the opposite. Apparently, we're the danger. Even something as small as a cold, something that you wouldn't really think twice about, that could be devastating to that group of people. Because again, they've had zero exposure to modern diseases. So when this dude is showing up, walking around, leaving objects behind, authorities are looking at it like, yeah, this could have gone really bad. And that's exactly why the laws around the island are so strict. And again, this guy just completely ignored those laws. And this is why he's been formally charged with entering a prohibited tribal reserve and violating Indian law. And if he's convicted, he's facing up to 5 years in prison for what basically was a YouTube video. I mean, there is a history of people that have tried this before, and it never ends well. And if I can find all this information, then a guy who planned the entire thing to go to the island can absolutely find this information. Because you had a very infamous case from 2018 where you had a guy by the name of John Allen Chow, an American missionary who thought it was a good idea to go to that same island and make contact. He planned it out, he prepared for it, he wrote in his journal about it, and within days of arriving, he was gone. And a fisherman who took him there later said they saw the tribe drag his body across the beach. So again, the guy is extremely lucky he even made it off the island. And obviously, even outside of that case, there's been multiple incidents over the years. Fishermen drifting a little bit too close and outsiders just trying their luck a little bit too far.
Two men aged 48 and 52 were fishing for mud crabs near the island. However, the pair got so drunk that while sleeping, the anchor of the boat, which was a rock tied to a rope, fell apart and drifted the men toward North Sentinel. The following morning, fellow fishermen said they tried to shout at the men and warn them that they were in danger. However, they did not respond. They were probably drunk, and the boat drifted into the shallows where they were attacked and killed.
And unfortunately, the result is almost always the same, which is why the Indian government doesn't play around with this anymore. There is a strict exclusion zone, naval patrols, and actual laws in place that say, hey, don't go near this island whatsoever. And yet somehow, in 2025, we still have influencers looking at that thinking, yeah, I could probably make a viral video on this island. Like, come on, guys. Even Survival International, the organization that works to protect uncontacted tribes, they came out and called the stunt idiotic and reckless. And they also said his actions not only endangered his own life, but the lives of the entire Sentinelese tribe. And that's why he's still currently...
I mean, I gotta say, that is probably very, I think I'd love to learn what happens. But again, it's protected, you can't go there, but just to see what life was like basically 1,000 years ago at this point. They have not changed. They have been living their way of life for forever. And they continue to live their way of life. It's just, I think it'd be fascinating to find out. I think it'd be fascinating to find out exactly what they do, who they eat. I mean, say who, because you know, maybe those people that wander ashore are very nutritious. But oh my gosh.
He's stuck in India waiting to see if he's going to get years in prison or not. So I guess we just kind of have to wait and see what happens on April 29th. But other than that, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video, so I would definitely recommend clicking it, and I'll see you.
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. The fact that the extents people go to for virality. Like, I know there's an island, like there are a few protected areas in around India and in India that are just like, you're not supposed to go there, but every place has that. I know, like the the nuclear reactor that malfunctioned in Japan, you're not allowed to go to that area because it's still radioactive. There are a lot of people who lost their homes and everything in that area because everyone had to evacuate. But yeah, there's that zone, which people go there in order to do video. People go to Chernobyl to do video. People always go to these restricted sites in order to try to create content and try to like get just to go viral and get views. I don't know. Why can't people just be happy just doing whatever? Just doing whatever. No matter what, you'll always find people who are willing to listen to a retard and like you're all just listening to a retard. It's perfectly fine, right? You have a laugh. It's enjoyable, and sometimes we actually get some interesting content. Sometimes. But yeah, there's so many people just always want to get I want to be viral. They want that 15 minutes of fame. They want that 15 minutes of fame. And then once they have that 15 minutes of fame, they're constantly chasing it. They're constantly chasing it. And if they got their 15 minutes of fame being an idiot, they escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate until they end up ruining their lives. Oh my gosh. Actually, a senseless way of life is well understood due to surrounding tribes who have joined society. Well, yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. But it's still something to hear about it and then actually be there and see it. Of course, I'm not there. I don't see it. But at the same time, it's still fascinating. I'd love to learn more. I'd love to learn more.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.